Hey, this is James, Mr. Unprofessional himself here, and today we're looking at a product from Magnum Research Inc. Now, most people, when you say Magnum Research, first thing that comes to their head is the Desert Eagle, and it should. This is a superhero all on itself. This 50 caliber goodness is meant for the silver screen. When you need a pistol to outfit your superhero on screen, this is probably the pistol you're going to use because look at it. It just makes you look tough and amazing. For everyday concealed carry though, this big behemoth in 50 caliber may not be the best choice for everyone. But did you know that Magnum Research actually makes a scaled down version? The Baby Eagle, now in version 3, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated pistols there is out there. The Baby Eagle 3 has an impressive pedigree, finding its roots all the way back to the tried and true combat-proven CZ75, to the Israeli Jericho 941. Now in its third form, the Baby Eagle 3 is one of the most refined and lightest versions of the Baby Eagle we've yet to see.
Let's talk about what a double action single action pistol is. A double action single action pistol, your first trigger pull is going to be double action. Think about it like a revolver. My example is right at 10 pounds. After you fire that first shot and that slide moves back and forth, it cocks that hammer, which then makes the trigger feel lighter, about 1.6 pounds on my example. So your first trigger pull is going to be long and heavy. Think about it as a safety. You're really meaning to pull this trigger. Then after that, you've got a nice crisp short trigger that you're able to take fast follow-up shots. Let's go ahead and demonstrate how this trigger works. Now, right now, we've got the safety on and the hammer down. So we decocked it. If we were to want to shoot this pistol, we would have to take the safety off. So safety is off. You'll notice that there's a red dot right there. So now we're able to take a double action trigger pull if we wanted to. Now we've already checked this pistol and it's empty, but let's demonstrate how that double action trigger works. You'll notice that the trigger is far up in the trigger guard. Now we're going to take our finger and I'm going to show you. You got a little bit of play in that, but you get to a wall and now notice what happens when I'm pulling that trigger. That hammer is moving back and forth and then it goes all the way back and it fires. We got that little bit of take up and then as I'm pulling that trigger, that hammer's going back and firing. Very similar to a revolver. But in real life, if there was a round in the chamber and we pull that trigger, bang, that slide is going to move back and forth. So now we just loaded the second round. Now I want you to pay attention to the trigger with the hammer back in single action mode. Look how far back that trigger is from where it was beginning with that double action. So now if we put our finger back in with the hammer back on single action, there's a little bit of movement, but watch this. Barely any trigger pull. And that slide would move as it fired. And again, very short trigger pull on that single action. Let's discuss the safety lever, decocking lever that's right here. That's probably going to be one of the most disconcerting parts of a new person to this pistol platform to actually use because it sounds scary, but I promise you the gun will not fire when you decock it. I am going to show you and prove to you how that works. So we have an empty pistol and we're going to load one round in it. So now we have a round in the chamber and our safety is off. You'll notice that the hammer is back. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower that decocking lever like so. And notice that the hammer, it released that tension, but the pistol did not fire. The other thing is that this pistol is now on safe. So if I try to fire that pistol, nothing will happen until we take that safety and flip it back to fire.
The Baby Eagle series of pistols have always had the reputation of being built like tanks, virtually indestructible. These full-size pistols are substantial in the hand and you can feel the quality throughout. Even though the Baby Eagle 3 is a full-size pistol, the new, slimmer profile grip does wonders. You don't have to have huge hands for the Baby Eagle 3 to fit like a glove.
If you notice the grips, there's some scallops in the front with texture in the front or the back. That texture locks into your hand and makes sure it doesn't move. If you notice at the bottom of that trigger guard, look at that nice high cutout. What that does is allow your hand to get a nice high tight grip to that pistol. And even though this is polymer, and sometimes you may think that it gets slippery, let me just tell you, I am sweating out here because in this Alabama summer shooting this pistol, it is moist out here. And my hands are sweaty, and even so, I could still get that nice high grip, and that pistol locks in my hand, and no matter what, as I'm shooting it, even fast fire, it is not moving whatsoever. The other thing that I want you to pay attention to is this high cutout right here where the beaver tail is. Notice that I could get the web of my hand nice and high to get a good grip on that pistol, but as that slide moves back and forth, there is no way for that slide to bite me at all. Moving on to the other side, I want you to notice these grooves that are right here, these thumb grooves. That thumb groove kind of allows my finger to rest right here next to the magazine, and look, I barely had to move to be able to eject that magazine. So for me, that is actually really good. Those ergonomics, it's nice and skinny, that grip, but we've got a 15 round capacity, and I'm still able to reach all of the controls, have a good, nice, firm grip on the pistol no matter what.
The slide of the Baby Eagle has been slimmed down slightly, shaving some weight. As someone who carries a pistol all day, I can really appreciate that the Baby Eagle 3 is Magnum Research's lightest version yet. As for the sights, the pistol features a traditional 3-dot sight system, with both the front and rear sights righting in dovetails. The sights are adjustable for windage, left or right, but in all honesty, I didn't even need to test that out, because they shot straight. The Israelis build everything as if their lives depend on it, because it does. These are combat, not bullseye-style pistols. With a bullseye-style pistol, you line up the sights and you put the front sight underneath the bullseye, and your impact will be on top of the front sight. With a combat-style pistol and sights, you're lining up the 3 dots of the sights. Then, with both eyes open, you superimpose the front sight. The dot will be covering the target. If you do that, the Baby Eagle 3 shoots like a dream. One of the benefits of a hammer-fired pistol over a striker-fired one is the ability to second strike the primer. This basically means that if you pull the trigger and the primer does not ignite the first time, simply pull the trigger again, and statistically, your chances of igniting that bad primer are pretty damn good. The Baby Eagle 3 comes in some pretty cool custom-looking Cerakote options to match your personality. But don't worry, Tackleberry. The Baby Eagle 3 is available with a classic matte black oxide coating, which is ninja stealthy. But if you're like me and have something with a bit more pizzazz, the Magnum Research offers 3 Cerakote options: Northern Lights, which is the version I chose, Black Cherry, and Burnt Bronze. The Baby Eagle 3 does a great job doing what it was designed to do, and that's to put rounds downrange with great efficiency.
Learning how to use a Baby Eagle 3 is relatively easy because there's only 4 things that you need to know about. Essentially, you just need to know about the safety decocking lever, the takedown slide stop lever, the magazine release, and the trigger. After that, that's it. To eject a magazine, push the button. How easy is that? To use a trigger, you're pulling the trigger. That's pretty easy. And the takedown lever, let me show you how to take this gun apart. Field stripping a Baby Eagle is really easy. If you've ever done any other CZ75 type firearm, it's going to be the exact same thing. If you'll notice that the slide stop disassembly lever protrudes off to the ejection port side. So what we need to do is push that out, but you can't just push it out because no matter how hard you push, it is not going to come out. That's because on CZ style firearms, you have a little dot that's always going to be on the frame and the slide. So what we have to do is move that slide slightly back, just enough to line those two dots up and down from each other. Once you've got those two dots lined up with each other, now you could slide that disassembly lever out of where it lives. So with a brand new pistol, it's probably going to be really hard to get that lever out. So I like to take the back of the magazine and use it as a tool and snap it to where it's coming out. So if we look on the other side now, see how it's sitting away from the frame? Let's pull that slide back just a little bit, and it slides right on out. I didn't even have to hammer anything or bang on it or anything. If you need a hammer, you're doing it wrong. The trick is lining up those two dots. From here, you'll notice that we don't even have to pull the trigger or anything, and the slide comes right off the frame. So now that we have the pistol in 3 parts, the next step we're going to do is take the spring out and the guide rod and the barrel. And just so you know that I actually use these pistols, look how dirty this is already, you know? So this isn't just for show. We actually use these pistols. To put this gun back together, now that we've cleaned it, or that my wife cleaned it for me, we're going to put the barrel in, and it just slides right into place. Now we're going to take that guide rod and that spring, shove it right in, and just like so. Next, you'll notice that the frame kind of holds the slide, and all we're going to do, we're not forcing anything. Notice how it just comes all the way back. Now, again, we have to pay attention to where those lineup dots are, because if you'll notice in this hole, watch what happens. You see how there's room to put it in, but if right there's no room, now we create the gap for that disassembly lever to be able to fit into place. So now that we've got it, let's rack that slide, and we are fully assembled. Even though I am sweating out here, I had a blast shooting the Baby Eagle 3. So now let me give you some of my final thoughts. The Magnum Research Company, they're known for their big 50 caliber Desert Eagle. Now, it is an amazing gun, and when you take it to the range with all your buddies, everybody knows you're shooting this gun. They've seen it in Hollywood movies, in superheroes' hands, in superstars' hands, and it's hard to miss. It's hard to miss. That means it's not very practical if you're trying to carry this for deep concealed carry usage. So that's why they created the Baby Eagles, that this is a normal size pistol. The Baby Eagle 3 is available in 2 different sizes, a full size and a more compact 8-inch barrel. This is the full-size version, so this is as big as it's going to get. Now, if you were looking to compare it to another pistol you may know, that's going to be the Glock 17 and Glock 19 size. So these are full-size duty-style pistols that means that they're comfortable enough to shoot no matter what kind of ammo you're shooting, plus P or not. You're going to be able to shoot this all day without any problems. The other thing is that larger size means they're more accurate, they're easier to shoot. A lot of people have problems with micro-concealed pistols, that if you're trying to take a shot beyond 10 yards, you have to slow down and think about where your shot is going. With a full-size pistol, if you've ever shot competition or anything like that, you'll know that longer sight radius means you could shoot more faster and accurately with that pistol.
This has been James, Mr. Unprofessional himself. Follow me on all the different social medias at The Real XD Man on all the different social medias. Follow me, damn it. And stay tuned for our next reviews and where we get to have more fun with guns.